And we are live. Welcome back to On jae'sean Tate's Junk podcast. I forgot to change that back to On the King's Dime. We are back again, Andy and Ben again, back to break down round 9 against Melbourne. How you doing, Andy?
Good. Yeah. Great weekend.
Good weekend. Bit windy, a little bit of smoke in the air.
Yeah, weather's been pretty shit, but all my teams won over the weekend, so very, very good weekend. Philly back-to-back wins. Sydney destroyed Melbourne.
Yeah, it's always good when we knock over Melbourne.
And the Sydney FC has won as well, so
crushing it.
Can't complain.
Life is good. Another fantastic win on this season, going 11-1. Just a phenomenal start to the season. Did you expect anything like this when Will Weaver came in?
I expected good. I did not expect magical.
Yeah,
I'd have to say I expected that we would have some pieces that would be interesting. Never did I expect that a 6'4" power forward would dominate the league as he has done. It's fair enough, fair assumption. I knew Casper Way was going to be pretty good, but again, he's starting to really warm up. And just, Will Weaver's ability to get the best out of his plays, going deep to his bench. Lucas Walker played quite well this game. He's a full team effort kind of guy. Utilizing Bogut for 20, 25 minutes a night max, I think is going to, give us longevity into the playoff run. But, you can't really deny what he's doing to this organization and franchise. And we finally beat Melbourne.
Yeah. After, like I was saying to you, they beat us. I think we were 2-14 the last 3 years, basically. I think we haven't won in Melbourne. So when we beat the Phoenix last week, that was the first time we won in Melbourne in just eons, basically. Yet they got pretty salty after this game, after they lost. And
from their perspective, you can see the salt, because if you don't understand basketball, you don't watch that game. There was a lot of fouls called.
There was.
Fouls called, and it was almost an atrocious amount of foul calling, but it was a pretty bad defense from Melbourne.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah.
First quarter, we really kind of took it to them, and they just put their hands in the lanes too much, and they didn't get out in front of the plays. They didn't body up. They just put their hands in, and stupid fouls. Like Barlow is not an intelligent defender. How he got picked for the Australian team. Probably
actually he's not that bad a defender. I think
he's not an intelligent defender.
You're right. That's a good way to put it. And he's very hedgy. He likes to hedge, and that's part of his shtick as a defender. But I think just jae'sean Tate is so powerful. I think those 2 early fouls were on him. He just gets his body in the right spot. That huge rig right in front of him. And the first one was, it was a bit like, ooh, that's soft. The second one, when you're on a foul already early in the game, you don't need to hedge. You can let jae'sean Tate. But part of the allure of trying to defend jae'sean Tate is you don't let him get that one step and that body inside in position, because So straight away, he's going to offer one step, probably lay the ball in or get to the rim. He's such a good finisher at the rim. And then it plays into the Kings offense. We didn't have that guy last year. And it's a spark offense. It's a go-to type of offense for us, and it was beautifully dialed up. We'll just get straight into the game. Obviously, like, share, and subscribe across the bottom here. We just prattled on for a little bit about the game. We're raring to talk about this game. To start out the game, I was just watching it going, man, we're running so many. I haven't seen this much high screen action.
No.
On off ball screening. This is fantastic. This is basically what I've wanted to see all season. It's hard to run with Bogut. Bogut loves to handle the ball. He loves to get to the elbow, and you just toss him the ball. You run off him. Not very much of that in this game, and it showed. And I think over the last couple of weeks, I've sort of noticed Bogut is a little bit low key, trying to keep it under wraps. He's not like last year where he was really getting rolling, winding the crowds up, really getting fired up. This season's been a little bit low key, and I thought this was a lot better way of using him, rather than have him just handle sort of right at the elbow, wanting to get the ball. I thought, he went down low and actually played like a big to start this game. It was a lot of Brad Newley and jae'sean Tate coming up, setting screens and doing stuff like that. It was bringing Golding up, and then having Sean Long being contested one of them. I think we were after our first 13 points were 5 of 6 at the rim. And it was just like, it was a perfect game plan, man. Like, it was great to see just the coach go, just get to the hole against this team, because, if we're going to set on ball screens nice and high, we're going to get nice one-on-ones with Sean Long. I mean, he's a good shot blocker, but he's not a guy like Bogut where you're scared to go into him. So,
Yeah, it's smart as well because Melbourne are fantastic perimeter defenders, but you take them one-on-one with good finishers like Brad Newley and Jae'Sean Tate, it's kind of hard. It's that kind of defensive scheme where they funnel players around the perimeter and contest shots. But yeah, high screens coming downhill with smart intelligent finishes. It was a good game plan. It's not like we've seen this year from Sydney. I suppose coming out of that loss last time to Melbourne, it was a good change in tactics that really reaped rewards this game.
So it was pretty like last year. We didn't see these kind of bread and butter things where we'd go into a game as fans thinking, all right, we need to do this, we need to execute this against a team. Like, a lot of our games last year sort of were just, we come out, shoot some buckets, play a little defense, and then it's 30 all at half time, and we're like, all right, boys, let's get a third quarter going and try and win this game. Whereas a few games this season, we've come out with game plans, like, we're going to do this to you, we're going to do this and that, and you're going to have to react. And one of those games was the Phoenix last week, where it was obvious that we came out hard. We were like, we didn't come out hard against the Illawarra, come out hard in this game. It's good to see us execute a game plan. And Will Weaver's obviously, we were saying last week, we've got this team emotionally on the hook, and it's making them play a lot better, making them play harder and execute things that he's trying to get these guys to do, which is really good to see.
Yeah, just some of the intelligent basketball playing the right plays at the right time. As soon as they pulled Sean Long out, Bogut came out. It was just like you didn't leave that match up to chance. It was fresh Bogut against fresh Sean Long, and Bogut's going to probably win a lot of the times on the defensive end, and he doesn't need to score. Like last year, he was such an offensive go-to because we've done nothing in the high weave. Let's just go to Bogut in the low post and see if he can do something. Whereas this year, just like we're going to get jae'sean Tate isolated on the weak side. Oh, there he goes. He lays it or pump fakes through three dudes, or Ware gets an open shot, or Lazada gets in the lanes, or even Moller gets some one-on-one putbacks. And it's just smart, intelligent play. And kick it. 2 shots a game, right at his spot. 6 points. There you are.
Two in this game, but those 2 shots were at the right spot.
They were at the right spot. But that's the go-to kick it. 2 shots a game at the right spot. There's no post kick it. There's no back down kick it. There's kick it at 4 o'clock, kick it at 8 o'clock. That's it. Bang. It's just smart offense, and I think everyone's bought into the offense. Last year didn't seem like anyone bought into anything. Just seemed like a pickup game that some guys played.
Yeah, it did. It was a little like, and even a few times through last season, I was like, this team is actually well coached, well drilled. But looking at it compared to this season, you're like, okay, this is actually what really well coached and well drilled looks like. And the understanding levels, the ability to execute, like we were doing pretty high level stuff last year, the ability to execute on a level that's probably higher than our fundamental level last year, but it's feeding into those higher level things for us. I think that's the real change to this season. We're executing fundamentally a lot higher than we were last season, and that's allowing us to do better things. The first thing, obviously, to start with was Moller. No Moller. So I was like, ooh, that's a pretty big loss defensively. He's been pretty good this season. Lucas Walker straight away, I think, came out as that first guy off the bench with Deshaun Taylor. Deshaun Taylor played 22 minutes in this game.
He played lights out, to be honest with you. He's going to get a point, just a spoiler alert, in the MVP Kings Dime.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
And he had a great game. Shot some. His shot mechanics are a bit, but they dropped, so that was good. But his pestering defense was some of the best I've seen. And
that was that was a big thing. Like, he came out with a point to prove, and low key, I think it's like, oh right, they've signed Cooks and Lish is coming back pretty soon, so I don't think I'm going to be on this team for much longer. Not to have a go at him, and I don't think he'd been that good in the last few games. He hadn't been shooting the ball well. Got a little bit overly aggressive on defense, but in this game it was the perfect game for him to come out, big occasion. So like, bring the hustle. That's what we want to see. It was good to see him do that. And then Lucas Walker off the bench. What do you think about him?
Look, he's a stalwart. He's a solid guy. He's not going to give you amazing minutes, but he seems to be able to get offensive rebounds quite well. I don't know if that's just him. He's not he's not game seasoned, I think, and it's going to be hard for him to go out and give you effective minutes without being game seasoned. But if you can defend and not be a burden on defense and be a body in the paint and smart, then you don't really need to score in this team with any lineup on the floor. Sean Bruce is playing lights out as well.
Yeah, what do you think about him? 2 of 8 from the field in this game, so not his best scoring. But man, a few of those matchups on Goulding, I thought he did so well defending him, even though he's undersized on Goulding.
He played very well on the defensive end. I don't know, it's just there's some smart matchup. I mean, Goulding's still a fantastic player. And I have to give it to Melo Trimble. He's upped his game from last year. But just some terrible flops. Flops.
We'll go in depth on the ref rant a little bit later. We'll save it.
It's the flopping and then the look.
Yeah,
or
man.
The 3-point kick out, and then he clips it. His leg was not there to start with. Why are you kicking half over the line and then someone clips you? Oh, it's a foul. It's just bad refereeing.
He did it a couple of times too, man. I just I'm not into that sort of thing. Even that Goulding flop where Newley came up to set the screen on him and he just threw himself on the ground. It's like, man, you're an elite player. Do we need to do this, man?
He's a flop. Flop on flop action.
We'll go a little bit further in depth into the ref rant. But so yeah, one of my notes was Walker instead of Moller. How did that feel? I felt like
it's
not great. We kind of missed Moller a little bit, but Deshaun Taylor kind of came in and mitigated that a little bit, I think.
I mean, Moller gives you a spark of energy. I mean, he's not shooting the ball particularly well from 3, but offensively he seems to get into the right areas on most occasions. Defensively, he's another big body that can grab boards and can jump as well. You see Kick at 6'10", but jumps 5'3". It's
minus. He compresses
he compresses. It just gives you something else on the defense, offense, and he's finishing around the rim has been pretty good actually. I think he's leading his career in terms of points per game, and a lot of that's come around to the rim. Obviously, we're shooting 3 of 26 from beyond the arc or something
in this game.
This season.
Who's that? Moller, yeah, 3-ball is just gone. Going into this game, he was 5 of 28, 17%. It's dismal.
But he's still scoring. So he's obviously doing something right around the rim, which is good to see.
And contributing. Just contributing in other ways. I think this is a much better array of guys that just contribute to each other, and they don't need can you do they're all leaders too. That's what they said on the telecast. There's a lot of 30+ guys there. Bogut, obviously, happy birthday to Bogut, turned at 35. Kickett's over 30, Walker's over 30, Bruce is, I think, almost 30.
Close to 40. He's great as anything.
I think he's only like 36 or something like that. I don't think he's that much older than 35.
I think he's 36. I think he's a year older than Bogut.
Yeah, that's not that old. And then you look at Bogut, obviously, I said Bogut. And then Newley again. Newley, man, cool head. How cool is he this season? It's just crazy to see, man. He's just smooth.
Do you know what it is? There's no pressure. I think there's no pressure in this team. He's not, Newley was a top elite player for so long, and a lot of pressure went. Now he's just this savvy veteran that you can have in your team that gives you an oversized small forward, but yet just gets to the hoop, shooting the 3-ball really efficiently this year and defending quite well. So it's how he's managed to get this team together. I got no idea, because this team on paper is so much better than anything else in the league.
Well, they all took a pay cut, but
yeah, I mean that's what I mean. They obviously all took a pay cut to win a championship. But to put this team on paper in a league with a salary cap has me wondering.
Yeah, hey, don't out the team on the fan channel that outs their own team for salary cap breaches. It's true.
It's not salary cap. It's not salary cap breaches. It's guys taking pay cuts. It's smart. The Next Stars program. I think they're all on $50,000. They're on nothing. New Orleans pays for a lot of what he does out here. I think.
Well, you'd think so.
Yeah. Getting a cheap deep bench as well, like cheap deep bench. Jordan Hunter first contract. We haven't seen him a lot lately, but stone hands, but seems to be defensively quite good. Lucas Walker,
very quiet, -12 in this game.
Yeah, but that was the end where they were just putting up on garbage time, yeah, the game was over, and I think there was a lot of young guys in the Melbourne team just like itching to get out there and shoot some hoops, which was the hilarious last 3 minutes. But yeah, cheap deep bench and just some really savvy vets, and Bogut, who took shares in the franchise instead of getting paid. So it's a very, very smart and well together put together team. You'd have to imagine jae'sean Tate's probably not the highest paid import as well, due to his injuries over his career and his lack of game time at Antwerp last year, and just a whole bunch of factors. I can safely say that next year he's probably going to be one of the highest paid imports.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a really good team and smart coaching and scouting by Will Weaver.
For sure. He came in with a lot less hype too. Like, he doesn't feel like an import really. Like, I mean, he didn't feel like an import when he came in, but now it's like, oh wow, this guy's actually like a fantastic player, very, very solid, fundamentally sound. And I think that's just been such a good theme for this season, is how good our fundamentals are. We've got a great coach that's well measured, very, very sort of, good at translating these guys to make sure their standards are very high, and at the same time producing some moments of brilliance here and there. Because we'll move on to Didi. Don't think he had a very good game. I think he's kind of just gone back into a little bit of on the downward of a slump after that firecracker of a game the other night, or the other day, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but it also seemed like some games he's like, give me the ball, I'll take over. And then this game he was quite passive, just happy to take a shot here. Foul trouble a bit early. He seems like if he does get called early, then, I mean, it's not the NBA as well. You get that extra foul does really help in a deep roster. You kind of get into foul trouble here and you're like, oh, what do I do?
And he's an important on-ball guy too. Like, it's not as though, he's a help defender or he's just a body to throw at guys. Like, he's a main focused defender. I think Will Weaver, like, he was calling the center spot the choker, and like, he's a main guy that funnels that guy into that spot. So you look at Deshaun Taylor's defensive contribution was similar. He was getting a lot more love from his defense, whereas Didi is kind of fouling a little bit. And then sometimes it felt like it was the even up foul too. Like, he got called a couple of times. We're just like, oh man, like let that go. But then you think, at the other end there was a bit of a dodgy one, and maybe it was a makeup call. But I don't like foul calls when you only get 5 fouls. Like, I'd prefer swallow your whistle, let the game get a little bit heated before you get super whistle happy. But yeah,
very whistle happy.
We'll just talk about the refs now. Like, but for both teams, man, that just really wasn't a very well officiated game. And I think everyone's got a right to just be like, hey man, like, that's like, whether it's Sydney fans or Melbourne fans, obviously we shot 37 free throws, and I think we had 16 or 17 in the first quarter. And then I went back and watched it today, and I'm like, no. A lot of these were bad fouls. We were in the bonus very early, and one thing we've copped over the last 2 seasons was stupid fouling when other teams are in the bonus. So it's nice to see us be like, yeah, foul us, and we'll shoot free throws. Thank you. Like, that was good to see. But a few of them were like bad fouls, man. Like, it was maybe 7 out of the 10 were bad fouls, and maybe 1 or 2 of them were bad.
A lot of hands in the lane. A lot of hands. It seemed, you can look at a body up or a straight up and down as a defensive maneuver, but a lot of them were hands in the lane trying to go for the ball, and you clip the band and you're going to get called. And they were very, very whistle happy this game. A little bit too in terms of game flow and time and things like that. But yeah, very, very whistle happy, which is a bit annoying.
Yeah, I don't like that, man. I want them to, like, obviously we don't want people getting injured. We don't want the game to get out of hand. I think the professionalism of these teams, right, this game would have called for, it's a grudge match, Sydney, Melbourne. Let's make sure we call this game tight and make sure it doesn't get out of hand. And then, like, the game didn't have that feel. Like, there's some games where it's like, holy moly, like, this is heated, this is tense. This game didn't feel like that. It felt like...
just felt like it was just business and they were just doing what they needed to do.
Like, almost like Sydney went, we know they're going to flop. That's in our game. Will Weaver did sort of say, during one of the timeouts, like, we know they're going to flop a lot, so make sure you get those on balls nice and close. And, flopping leads to kind of not knowing what the calls are going to be, calling random fouls. We still had another one of those charge fouls where the guy's clearly not set, and then the commentators go, that's great defense. I'm like, it's just not great defense, man. Like, very close. Like these should be called blocking fouls or just no called. And then we had just an awful flop by Goulding and Diddy doing the sweet thing, basically dunking over him and staring down at him. I'm like, thank you. Like that's exactly what should happen in these on these flops where a guy just throws himself on the floor. The guy should basically be like, sweet, I'm just going to dunk all over you, and then look down on you and be like, thanks. And I'm glad that happened to Goulding too. Like just karma, man, coming back to him. But I felt Melbourne were just like sooked out a bit too much. Like they're kind of known for that, and they just got too into the sooking too much. And I think that played a little bit maybe on the refs. Like, because we had Sean Bruce basically yelling at one of the refs, and then the refs on mic being like, hey, Sean, don't yell at me, mate. It's just like, oh, cringe. Come on, don't be telling the players not to yell at you, dude. Like, just, and fair enough if you're calling a tight game and it's you're having a good call, but they were having an absolute mare at this stage, and I'm just like, this looks so bad as a product. Like, hey, we're trying our best out here, boys. Like, just no. But ultimately, look, the Kings probably got the
better end of the stick.
Yeah, for sure. And we've been shooting our free throws at, I'm just going to look at the stat sheet here. 69%. So fair play to the Kings, 33 of 37, 89%. So actually, there's one thing getting the fouls this season. We haven't really been knocking down the free throws. In this game, we knocked them down, and it was able to like keep our momentum up.
Keep that score wide open. The game was pretty much over 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, realistically. A lot of garbage minutes, a lot of garbage player rotation made it a bit closer than what it was, but that game was well done. Probably at the end of the third quarter, we were sitting on 100 by the end of the third quarter, something.
No, it wasn't.
90?
It
was
90.
It
was like 80 something. Wasn't that high,
no,
surely?
That was not. I'm pretty sure it was 90 end of third quarter.
No,
it was 90 to 68 or something.
It was. You're right. It was 96. So we only had 15 in the fourth quarter. You're right.
Because I was watching with my mate on TV, and I was like, this is usually what the end of the game is, score line, and we've still got a whole quarter to go.
But we kind of switched off in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was done. It was done and dusted.
And then if we look back at the Cairns Taipans game up in Cairns against Melbourne, man, I thought Melbourne phoned that game in. They were trying to just be like, oh, we'll just try and get the win here and, scoot back to Sydney and then save all their energy for the Sydney game. It ends up being 2 losses for them, man. And I thought we just soundly beat them as well as well as we got the good end of some nice home refereeing. It was good to see some home cooking. Like, how many times have we sat here in the last 2 years going, oh man, we got home cooking. How good is this? La la la. Like usually it's Perth or Melbourne getting the crazy home cooking, and we're like, what is this? Like, come on, man. So that was good to see. But I still think we played like a team that was like, what do you got? Come at us. Yeah, you don't have it. Sorry.
We played like a 11-1 team.
Yeah, for sure. Which was great to see. What other things I got here in my notes? Sean Long, keep shooting 3 balls, Sean Long. I want to see more 3 balls, shooting it at 24% this season. I want to see it. And a couple of step backs too. I'm like, why are you from the elbow dribbling on Bogut and taking a step back? Like, what are you doing? We limited him, I think, a couple of dunks. He had a couple of dunks late. Actually, he had the first few points in the game. Felt hollow again. Like, it never feels like he's really hurting you. It's kind of like Trimble, man. Like, I'm probably the only one on this island, but it feels like this Trimble and Long combo. It's like false numbers when they play. Like, it doesn't feel like it's...
It seems like there's a lot of rate about it and how well Melbourne are doing, but I was just looking at the ladder, and man, there is a logjam between 7 and 2. Like, there is 2 games separating pretty much 7 and 2. That's crazy. I mean, the Breakers and Hawks, we all know, are just trash bags at 30 paces. Although I have to say, LaMelo 2 triple doubles in 2 games is pretty phenomenal for an NBL team.
Fantastic, man, phenomenal. Second one, not the greatest, but it was.
Yeah, he's putting up the numbers, but I think he's just like, right, I'm taking over this team.
And why not, man? Like, why the hell not? If you're an 18-year-old, you're coming out, you're going to make the NBA. Just toss the ball.
Just take over.
Get triple doubles.
Get paid that number 1 pick money over in the States. That's what you're aiming for. but just sneakily, the Taipans are looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Melbourne aren't looking so good. Perth losing again. I don't know, man. This is a hard leg to pick. I just think Sydney are just so far head and shoulders above everyone else. I mean, Perth have had a couple of injury issues, and only one person on their team can shoot the ball. That will do that. It's just.
And we've got Perth coming up too. Spoiler alert in the next game, I think.
Yeah, well, if Tariq White's not back, then that game's pretty much just a done and dusted.
Oof, big words. Touch wood.
Not big words. Without that second scoring player, that team is a shadow of its former self. Like Damien Martin can't score the ball. He's kind of looking old as well. A lot of their other players are just like Nick Kay's not having the greatest season. Well, from that Boomers campaign to this season, just again, that's where you have a very selfish team. Cotton and Tariq White are very selfish players. It's all about scoring. Whereas if you're in a facilitative team, I think Nick Kay does a lot better at getting inside the paint and actually doing something. So
Nick Kay would be awesome for this this Kings team. Kay and Bogut with jae'sean Tate at the 3, and then Kevin Lish and Casper Ware. Whew, man, that'd be a fantastic team. The other thing I wanted to talk about on this from Melbourne's point of view is Mitch McCarron did not play well in this team, and he's a guy that's played in the last 4 games, like really, like he got the tip in. He had a fantastic game in the first game this season, basically willed them home, and then in a couple of the games previously, man, he was just like in this game, it kind of felt like, all right, we've just got a couple of really good on-ball defenders and another big guy to throw at you. So what do you got, Mitch McCarron? And I felt like it was an objective to keep him off the glass and keep him out of areas where he was doing damage against us previously. Like this team's gone away and gone, all right, Mitch McCarron likes to get to the hole. He likes to initiate here, likes to get to the offensive glass, crash the boards as an undersized guy. We're going to make sure we stop him from doing that. And, man, he didn't play well. What did he have? 7 points, 2 of 4, only took 4 shots. Again, man, why is Sean Long shooting long-range, mid-range jumpers and long-range threes when Mitch McCarron should probably be shooting those? Joe Luala-Chul, how do you think he looked against us? I thought he played pretty well.
Played pretty well. Good finisher around the rim. Long. I mean, that's the thing, you're going to get against other guys. Long player. It'd be good with a 4-5 combo, him and Long on the floor, I think. Come down the track at the end of the season, play that combo and see how that plays out against Sydney, which is quite a mismatch on, Bogut and potentially when Kickett's on the floor. But again, I think down that end playoffs, we're going to see Kickett maybe playing more minutes at 4 and not at 5, and Bogut, minutes going up, which is going to stretch out a lot more. But I have to say this, and this, I think, do you start playing Bogut more minutes to condition him for the postseason soon? Give him a couple of rest games, but start playing him for 30, 35 minutes a game to get his body conditioned for postseason basketball, because it's going to be important come time. It's not so much more the fitness level. I think, you can do that workout. It's the timing of the blocking. It's the ability to not commit fouls, which only comes in game time. And when you're tired in game time, that's what happens. So that's what I would, suggest that Will Weaver does, is start playing him for at least 30 minutes a game coming down the stretch of the end of the season.
Don't know if we really need to, though. Like, he's not like an on-ball scorer or something like that where you need to get going, you need to get the guy into a rhythm. Defensively, maybe, yeah, defensively, but maybe, that timing just comes back. I feel like the team has come in underneath his ability a lot better this season, rather than last year. It was kind of just him doing everything defensively, funnel the guys in. Like, I feel like the team is just way better balanced to just be like, it's okay if you don't block a lot of shots in this game. It's okay if you're standing here, you get kind of like, he's getting rinsed in mid-range a little bit. Like, it looks like teams are like, if Bogut's there, don't try and finish over him. Basically try and spread the floor and shoot a mid-range jumper a little bit.
It's low. That's exactly what Will Weaver does. He runs teams off the 3-point line, does not let them, and just lets them operate in the mid-range. And there's very, very few mid-range scorers. Like, if you had a DeMar DeRozan come down to this league, he'd win every game against the Kings, because it just operating that mid-range. You can put up 36 points. There's no mid-range scorers in this league, consistent mid-range scorers at all.
I think, like, a guy like White maybe, and Patterson, off the top of my head, where's Ty Wesley, but he's injured.
Patterson's too unfit to play any more than 25 minutes a night anyway, so it's just like, he can keep his CD Mo and keep eating donuts, but he's not going to be playing 35 minutes and scoring.
and then maybe Goulding. But that's, man, you're like, oh yeah, there is no real mid-range talents in this team. It's all three, all inside. Like I've noticed this season, man, some of the inside play from a lot of the forwards in this league in general, it's been like, you're like, Jesus, how did he finish that? Like, what a finish! Or guys cutting baseline and just finishing reverse or finishing with a nice layout. Just like, ooh, man, good sort of post play, and that's kind of like a juxtaposition from the NBA where you don't really see a lot of that anymore. Like they're going more towards get wide open shots, and whether it be threes or at the rim. Whereas in the NBL, there's a lot more skilled. Like a guy catches in the post, one step off a step, he'll dribble or toss it out. That's kind of where we're going as well with the unselfish play.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, it's the FIBA game is definitely evolving away from the NBA in terms of, you know, fast break. It's a lot more of a strategic setup kind of style plays, a lot more high screens, whereas the NBA just seems to be just rinse everyone out of the way and just work one-on-one or some crazy shooting going on, or just fast break, transition point, steal, transition, moving the ball quickly. And it doesn't seem like any teams, I think it seems like, you know, the quicker you push Sydney, the quicker they operate and the harder it is to pull them back from that. And I think a few teams this year have said, all right, we'll up the pace. And then Sydney's just like, no, we'll keep you know, stretching that even further, and haven't been able to come back from it.
Yeah.
That wasn't one of this game.
So you're saying like when the game speeds up for us, we're like, yeah, we'll match you and we'll force the game even quicker. Or are you saying the other way, we're dragging the game down?
No, we match an increase. Whereas I think
that's what I felt like this season too. We're taking teams and going, oh, you want to play quick? We'll play quick. Can you play like this? No, you can't. Sweet. And we're, you know, pushing the game. A few times those third quarters have fallen in a hole a little bit, but there's so many just downhill options in this team. It's just crazy, man. It's great to watch.
It's good. It is. Shall we go to MVP?
Yeah, is there anything else we wanted to say about this game? The other thing was, man, Melbourne's bench without Jae'sean. I was kind of looking at Short purchase, Smith Milner, Prather was rusty as hell, and then McDaniel, man, they were all like also ran guys. I didn't really look at the health of their bench, man. It's not deep compared to a team like ours, but I guess, you know, our team's crazy when you consider depth. All right, just bringing up the over-under. How's your over-under for Sydney looking? 8. You predicted 21 wins. I predicted 20. So we're looking pretty good for that.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. All right, we're doing MVP first?
Yeah, let's do MVP. I'm going to go...
I haven't even putting the round or anything on there. Melb. And delete all this. Delete. All right, what do you got? 3 points?
Casper.
Yeah, where I think 2 points.
Tate.
1 point.
Sean Taylor.
Oh, Taylor.
Sean Taylor.
Yeah, it's like a opposition Mike guy when he hits a 3. Deshaun Taylor. All right, I just got to work out what did I name Deshaun. There we go. Sweet. I had Ware, also Tate. 1 point, man. I want to go Taylor. Oh, yeah. Newley was pretty good. Looking at this box score. Yeah, I do actually think, jae'sean Taylor. Deshaun Taylor, actually, his defense, man, was one of the big things in this game that kind of kept this close. Kept the lead all the way out there. It was good to see him. I think in a few weeks, man, he's not going to be on the team, to be honest.
He'll get waived once Lish is back.
Lish will be back, and the team's too stacked. I don't think there's anyone else who can really waive after waiving Kiwani and having Cooks there. I think it's kind of like if you can't take Cooks' minutes, which I don't think he's going to. It's going to be, but good to see him, you know, duking it out.
Maybe we'll be playing against him.
I'm just trying to bring up the fixture list so I make sure that I got the right fixtures. Round number 10 for predictions. Only 2 points in the last round for you, mate.
Oh, man, terrible round for me.
And that
What'd you get?
36ers game, far out. I had 3. The Melbourne just screwed me with that Taipans, and then the Wildcats screwed me yesterday, man. The Cats just, I don't know what's going on with them.
Told you, man. Tariq White. No, they need 2 scorers to function. 2 scorers to function.
All right. First game, we got New Zealand at Cairns.
Cairns.
Cairns. I will also go Cairns. Kings at the Wildcats. This is a pretty big game.
Kings.
Yeah, we'll go Kings. Why not? 12-2. Sounds good. 36ers at United.
36ers.
36ers. It's just it's tough, man. I think Melbourne bounce back game. Sean Long would dunk over someone when they're 10 down and then get the crowd fired up. Hawks at the Bullets.
Bullets.
I'll go Bullets as well. Wildcats at the Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Whoa. Why is that merged? Hang on. I'll go. Oh, I want to say Wildcats, man, but they screwed me last round. So the Phoenix, they won last round, didn't they? Yeah, they beat the Bullets. That was their first win in about 6. Yeah, all right. Nah, I'll go Wildcats on the road.
All right.
Just to make it fun. Taipans at the Kings.
Kings.
Yeah, at Qudos. We might try and go to that.
Yep.
And then the Bullets at the Breakers to finish the round. Long round, this one.
Breakers.
Ooh. They found something against Illawarra. It was a good game, actually, the other night. I'm going to go Bullets. And it's locked in. Anything else we want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, we could just do a quick rundown of the 2 games this week. Obviously, we know we get Perth for our first game. I think without Tariq White, that game's pretty much a done dusted. I don't think they have the ability to facilitate and score without that second scoring option. And the Kings will walk over them. If we get Moller back as well, it'll just add fuel to the fire. And then the Taipans, that'll be a close game, I think. I think that'll be a close game. I think the Taipans have something to prove. Always love watching Big Nate Jawai play. It's fun. And Scott Machado's not a bad player.
Yeah, it's very quietly just started to heat up a little bit. I feel like the first few games the Taipans were playing, it was like a carbon copy of that game we played against them in the first round where, oh, look, they're out by 12 or whatever. And then we're just like, oh, wait, no, we're the Sydney Kings and we win by 10. And they had a couple of those. I think against Brisbane was one of them. And then I think against Perth or Adelaide or someone like that where they were out by 10 and then just lost. Now it feels like they're actually, we can actually hold a lead and, keep it going. They found some rhythm. They've got just so many long guys like Deng, Kuat Noi.
Yeah.
They got someone else too in the mid-range who's like their flagship player, and then I just totally bricking on his name.
Still.
No, I can't remember. It's like their main player too. I got to look this up. This is shameful that I can't remember his name. No, it won't let me do it. No, I've just saw myself live on air.
That's it, mate. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up
and end your misery.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, we'll like, share, and subscribe all the way across the bottom. Facebook, on iTunes podcast app. Well, we're not really on iTunes at the moment. We're still waiting for some hosting to tick over. I'm not sure what's going on there, but yeah, watch on YouTube. Go back to the YouTube page. I'll put this up on YouTube after this. And then we've got a Patreon, so if you want to help us host these podcasts on an audio platform, that's what we're driving for. $10 a month, I think, will get us hosting, or 15 or something like that. But just chip in a few dollars to help us host this thing, and we will see you guys next time
on the King's Dome.
Take it easy, everyone. Have a good night.
See ya. Boop.